Moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're viewing us here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. Yes, I know you guys would have missed me. I missed you too. But however, I needed to take some much needed time to celebrate my birthday in the month of March. I think, sometimes you just need to stop, introspect, reflect, and celebrate. Right, so I had to celebrate my birthday, and thank you guys for all the birthday wishes. Thank you to Big Updates for giving me the cake that I didn't get as yet. But I do anticipate great things. But it's always a pleasure to be here with you, smack center of the middle of the week, to bring you that youthful vigor, that youthful vibe here on the Big Updates television show on Youth Wednesdays. I'm also joined with
Natalia Nances. Good morning, everyone. To our viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and 102 on AMPLIA. A special good morning to Dwayne Nurse as well, who, he wasn't with me in body, but in spirit.
Yes, man. Yes,
because every time I did that announcement, the good morning and everything, it was smack center in the middle of the week, something that Dwayne would say. So I'm really happy to have him here, to have him actually say it with me this morning. It's a pleasure to have you back, Dwayne.
Yes.
And to our viewers, it's a pleasure to have you here this morning with us.
All right. We have a lot in store for you guys this morning. A lot is happening in the space of Tobago. And, we are here to shed some light, some youthful light that is, on those matters. But before we get into those matters, we have news in 90 seconds with Miss Natalia Nances.
Thank you, Dwayne. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 26th March 2025. Police seized the 32 potted marijuana plants during a raid in Roxborough, Tobago on March 22nd. The Tobago Divisional Task Force K9 Unit, Interagency Task Force, Guard and Emergency Branch, and the Trinidad and Tobago Regiment participated in the exercise in Rose Hill, Delaford. Officers searched multiple homes and found a grow house with cannabis plants in plastic pots. 2 suspects were arrested. The seized drugs are valued at $13,000. PC Thorpe leads inquiries. Tobago has recorded its 3rd murder for 2025 yesterday. 32-year-old Venedo George of Studley Park was fatally shot while on a lunch break at Blackrock Heritage Park. George, a GenCon Limited employee who was contracted by TN Tech, was with 3 co-workers cutting trees at the Blackrock Heritage Park. However, during their lunch break, 2 masked men in blue jumpers approached and opened fire. The attackers then fled into nearby bushes. George sustained multiple gunshot wounds. Police are continuing investigations into the incident. Senior Counsel Israel Khan has called for Chief Justice Ivor Archie's resignation after losing a final appeal in the Marcia Ayers Caesar case. Khan staged a protest outside the Hall of Justice, condemning Archie for allegedly pressuring Ayers Caesar to resign as a High Court judge in 2017. The UK-based Privy Council upheld the local appeal court's ruling that Archie and the JLSC acted improperly. Khan urged an independent investigation under Section 137 of the Constitution. The Privy Council ruled that Ayers Caesar was wrongfully forced to resign but could have faced disciplinary proceedings. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Miss Nantes, for news in 90 seconds. We want to go straight over to our birthdays.
Everyone's favorite part of the morning.
Yeah, so our first on our list, we have Mr. Mian Kwashi. Good morning and happy birthday goes out to you from the Tobago Updates family. Who do we have next? Oh, let me do this one.
Go ahead.
Miss Frank, happy birthday goes out to you. Tasha Frank. I just always forget your first name, but we just always bounce up each other in the people and them Scarborough. But I want to wish you happy birthday and all the best from us on Tobago Updates. You can do the last one.
All right, last but not least, we have Giselle Alexander. Now, I'm going to bring that same energy Dwayne brought for the last birthday person. So, happy birthday to you, Miss Giselle, and God's blessings to you throughout the rest of the day. I really do hope that you enjoy your birthday, and Dwayne is very excited to tell the Marchborns happy birthday. So, I think he can give us the final happy birthday this morning. So, happy birthday to you, Miss Giselle Alexander.
Yes, and happy birthday to you as well. We Marchborns be, the best, but, the Pisces.
I don't want to say it's questionable, but it might be.
So thank you guys. And for those of you who did not make it on our birthday list this morning, we still want to wish you happy birthday. There are many of you who are celebrating your birthdays.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that you didn't make our list this morning, but I'm certain that you will still have a great time and give God all honor, glory, and praise.
Amen.
Right? So we want to go straight to our run-on because we have a tight-packed morning for you this morning.
Yes.
Right? We have this morning. You want to do the first one? Ladies first?
No, I think I'm going to give it to you because you haven't been here in so long.
Wow. What an excuse. Poor excuse. But anyway, first this morning to talk about her new book release, Miss Ingrid Melville. She'll be coming on to talk about two books relative to the Tobago economy, a kids version and a public friendly version of the book. She will be coming to talk with us about that, both Miss Natalia and I. And then next we have a nostalgia fair and a party. We love to party.
Who tell you that is a reference?
Anyway, we have Nikosi Fletcher from the Bishop's High School teacher, yes. And we have Janae Jones, the Student Council President, coming to discuss that event with us this morning. And last but certainly not least, we have Harvest, right? James Park, Harvest, and Caravan. And Tobago Harvest does take a real interesting spin.
Yes.
There's our food and things. So Miss Assembly man or woman, not Miss Natasha Charles Panton, Secretary of Food Production, will be coming to discuss this caravan with us this morning. And of course, that's all for you this morning, and we have to tell them to do what?
Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
The Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm. On Easter weekend 2025, Tobago is the place to be from April 17th to 20th. The Rhythm, the Soul of Tobago. On Thursday, April 17th, get ready for a worship experience at the Shore Park Complex with Melodies from Heaven. Melodies from Heaven. Then on Saturday, 19th April, immerse yourself in the sun, sea, and sand at the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, featuring legends of R&B. On Sunday, 20th April, we bring the curtains down at Parade Grounds, Dwight York Stadium for Fusion. Get your tickets on islandetickets.com now or visit TobagoFestival.com FestivalsCommission.com for more info. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
It's a different type of thing down there. What? And we party till we drop down there. Right. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago, so it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Yet again, another year and another 5 years would have elapsed, and we are on the cusp of another general election. And the pertinent to the discourse around this election is the Tobago autonomy issue. And we are going to take a conversation this morning toward the discussing two books released or about to be released by Miss Ingrid Melville surrounding the Tobago autonomy issue. So, Mr. Natalia and I will be conducting this interview this morning with Miss Melville, for which we are grateful for being a part of our platform this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Dwayne and Natalie, and good morning to your viewers and listeners. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
It better be.
It's a pleasure to have you, Miss Melville.
Splendiferous. You look splendiferous, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Melville. I hope you don't mind. She's a country girl. I wouldn't say where. She's one of Tobago's brightest. She's an attorney at law, etc. But I'll leave the rest for her to share with her viewers who may not know who she is.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. I think everyone knows me or know about me. I'm Ingrid Melville from Delaford, and I'm an attorney at law. Have been for quite some time. I have worked in different countries, but Tobago is my home. I love Tobago, and I want everyone to love Tobago. And I think it is out of that I wrote these two books, which have to do with the Tobago autonomy question, because for Tobago to grow and to develop, the issue of autonomy must be resolved. And it is an ongoing conversation, has been for several decades. Since I was a child, I remember the first time I heard about it, I was at Ebenezer Methodist School, and that was when Mr. Robinson was going around. Later, when I was at Bishop's High School, I also heard about the issue of internal self-government. And when I grew up and I decided to study law to be able not to defend criminals, but really because I understood that the law was the foundation of any society. And so I wanted to be able to play a meaningful role in making Tobago a better place.
And meaningful you have. because it is my understanding that you have been in several incarnations of conversations surrounding the Tobago autonomy issue. You want to shed some light on that?
I have been. I think my active participation started back in the 1990s while I was an intern at the office of Mrs. Deborah Moore Miggins. Mrs. Miggins, as you know, was a government senator, and at that time, the bills were before the parliament, the draft bills, and so she shared them and we would have discussions about them. Later on, when I came back in 2012, I came back from overseas and the green paper was on the table and there was the committee which was set up by Mr. Orville London. I attended one of the public meetings and shared my view, and from there I was kind of roped in to be one of the advisors of that committee. And I sat in that committee, which was the forum of political parties. I wanted to get the right term, where all political parties in Tobago came together to look at the autonomy question and to look at what the best model would be for Tobago. I was one of the advisors together with Mr. Gilbert Peterson, and out of that we sent a draft bill down to Trinidad. The draft bill was actually laid before the House, the Tobago House of Assembly, in 2016, and it was sent to Trinidad. Later on, the administration changed. Mr. Kelvin Charles became Chief Secretary. He continued the discussions and revisions were made to the bill, because by 2017 into 2018, then Prime Minister Rowley, I have to say then Prime Minister Rowley because he's no longer the Prime Minister, he set up a committee comprising Minister Fitzgerald Hines and Camille Robinson Regis, and they came and had meetings with the forum to look at the bills which was sent, the bill which was sent in 2016, to see whether it still met the needs of Tobago. So revisions were made, and in 2018, another iteration of the bill was again drafted by Mr. Peterson and I and sent down to Trinidad. And from there, Dr. Rowley laid the bill in Parliament, and the bill was sent to a joint select committee. The joint select committee had several meetings. I participated in some of the meetings, and the issue rolled along until the joint select committee came up with two bills which were taken to the Parliament, and the rest is history. December last year, one of the bills failed, one was passed in the lower house.
Right. So based on this information, Dwayne, she's very much informed on Tobago's should-be autonomy, what should I say, right? So we know that she's the author of 2 books now to share this information with you. So what inspired you to write these books? I mean, we heard a lot, but what actually inspired you to put that information for the adults and for the children?
All right. The adult book I started writing quite some time ago. You know, as I participated in the different discussions, I wrote the adult book. Back in 2021, I had a draft book. I shared that with certain persons, but I did not publish. But the information last year, there was so much information in the public space, and some of it was not accurate. So I really would like all of us in Trinidad and Tobago to have an accurate picture of the road to autonomy until now, on what the requirements are for autonomy as advanced by the people of Tobago. And I want everyone to be able to participate in the conversation from a standpoint of knowledge, not emotions. So in this book, I have condensed the information. I have also put the historical perspective so that there is a chronology, a brief chronology of the relationship between Trinidad and Tobago and the political dynamics between Trinidad and Tobago, leading right down to 2024.
Yeah.
All right. So we know that there's an adult book and the children book. So you're saying that you want us to come from a standpoint of knowledge.
Yeah.
In terms of the children, what is the goal for the children, shaping the young minds of the child?
I noticed that our children, and I'm a mother myself, and I've noticed that children look, because of the global village we live in, there seems to be less patriotism, less love for Tobago the way I loved Tobago as a child, the way I always wanted this place to be better. And in conversations with my own children as well as other children and young people, I recognized that information that I thought all children knew, like who was the first chief secretary of Tobago, who was the first chairman of the Tobago House of Assembly when the Tobago House of Assembly was reconstituted in 1980. Our children do not know that, and it's not really a part of our social studies curriculum. And I also note that between Trinidad and Tobago, the question of autonomy for Tobago is concentrated in Tobago. So that is why I developed a child called Kayla. Kayla, I use the acronym, the keen and the young lead all. Our children are not just children, they are present and future leaders. And we have to guide them in their development. So Kayla is a girl who lives in Trinidad, but her paternal relatives are in Tobago. And I use the air bridge. If you notice in this book, there are pictures of the ferry, the airport, the link between Trinidad and Tobago. The physical link is there, but also the link of our relationships, because all of us have relatives in Trinidad and in Tobago. So Kayla visits her grandfather in Tobago, and her grandfather speaks about the autonomy issue. Her grandfather, being older, has lived through all the various iterations from the 1970s right up to 2024. And that really is what Kayla is about. It's about telling our children that the issue of autonomy is not for adults. It's something for you as children. It's something for you to aspire to. Because if the legal question is resolved, then you would have a framework on which to build magnificent lives. And so Kayla, through play and through activities, because there's an activity section as well, children would be able to learn more about those whose shoulders we stand on regarding the question of Tobago autonomy.
I think my biggest question to this one is not if I should buy the book, but which version of the book I should buy. I'm leaning towards Kayla. I want to hear what Kayla's grandpa has to say.
Right. And you know, that would be very good for you, Miss Nancy. Very, very good for you.
And Kayla's story is supported by an artist. I cannot forget Zwinky Star. Zwinky Star is a young Tobagonian artist. I shared the story with Zwinky Star. I don't think she was really impressed by me telling the story, but when the artwork comes together and combines with the story, I think it is very attractive for children, and all the people who have read it, I've shared it with teachers and they have looked at it and they all become excited. And there are a number of people who have supported me in the development of this book besides Winky Star, including practicing teachers who have shared how the story could be slanted so that they could have discussions with their children in the classroom.
I love that idea, because I think the last discussion surrounding the bills that were to be passed, a lot of people were, I would say, misinformed on the information that they were supposed to have, why we should lean toward it, or, they were sharing their opinion on why we shouldn't. But I think when the Chief Secretary, Mr. Fali Augustine, he really shared the facts, a lot of people started to see, these things brought to light. So I'm really happy that there is now a book on shelves that people, could inform, they could be knowledgeable about the topic on a whole. Yeah, so I really think it's a good idea.
Yeah, and while we are on we are talking about the current issues and the development of this book. You were featured in one of those videos explaining and breaking down, bite-sized versions of what the autonomy question is. And I love how you said the autonomy question. What do you want, especially in these two books, the Tobago to take away? Because you mentioned earlier there's some misinformation, in this space. What are some of those notable misinformation, and how do these books address those misinformation?
All right. I think one of the critical things that came out last year was the statement that Tobago would get more money if the bills were passed. Tobago right now obtains its funding because the funding for Tobago is in the Constitution. So it's guaranteed. The two bills which were before the Parliament removed the funding for Tobago from the Constitution. So that left it open to anyone with a parliamentary majority to even decide to fund the Tobago from within central government and to remove the Tobago fund. So in the revision to the Constitution, there was no funding for Tobago. In the other bill, the Tobago Self-Government Bill, there was a provision for funding and there was a provision for a higher percentage than the formula right now for the Dispute Resolution Commission. But that was a serious danger. The fact that the Tobago House of Assembly would no longer have guaranteed funding from the Constitution. There was so much misinformation in the place. At times, the discussion spoke about a fourth schedule. There was no fourth schedule I remember there was a discussion at Barcode where there was discussion about a fourth schedule in the bills. There was no fourth schedule in the bills. So I really hope that people would be able to look at the books, to read the books. And I'd be willing to do some live sessions, even though I'm not great with the technology. I sometimes influence my children to assist me to do a live.
So what are some of the significant milestones, if any? Because you mentioned that there was a bill that was passed. You want to shed some light on that, if at all? And what are there any benefits for Tobago coming from that at all?
That bill, like I indicated, had some benefits, but that bill cannot stand alone. The constitutional amendment would be needed because new institutions would be created. In the constitutional amendment bill, there was a provision for lawmaking, but there were a lot of clawback provisions also. I think the nation has to understand and have the confidence that just as Trinidad and Tobago became a new entity at independence and later later at republicanism, and we are making laws. Some of them, sometimes we make bad laws, and that's why the court interprets the law. So the Tobago House of Assembly, in order to govern Tobago, has to have the latitude to make laws that will lead to the development of this island. No one is saying there won't be mistakes, but that is how we all live and learn. But that potential to make the laws, to make this island grow and develop must be there. The bill which was passed provided an improved situation for administrators, for instance, so that they would now be paid at the same level as a deputy permanent secretary. There were also provisions. There was a lot packed into that bill, but the constitutional guarantees which would allow the Tobago House of Assembly to function, they will not enjoy. Yeah, we will not be able to enjoy that.
All right. So we see that Ms. Melville has a lot of information
we have to bring
share.
it back.
We have to. I mean, it's according, some people call it the silly season, but it's the season of having these conversations, I would say. All right. So we'll be very happy to have you back on Tobago Updates. And I mean, if you have that small issue of not being able to handle the technology, Tobago Updates is always here to assist. Very good platform. Yes.
Thank you.
Right. So my last question to you before we wrap up the entire interview is, based on the books, where can we find the material? Where can we purchase them? Just to read through them, to get that knowledge that you told us that we should have.
At present, Kayla Loves Tobago is available at Books and Office Supplies at the price of $95, and Roadmap to Autonomy is also available there at the price of $150. Right. They are also available at my office, also at TLH building. With time, I believe they will be more widely available, but that's where you can get them for now. I hope everyone will avail themselves of a copy, not for self-interest, but just to be able to see the facts in a snapshot.
I think these books look like textbooks, incoming textbooks.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, so Miss Melville, thank you so much for being with us here on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. It was a huge pleasure having you here, and it'll be very nice to have you back again. All right. So to
Thank
all
you very
viewers that are
much.
still with us, thank you so much for staying with us. Before we go, I just want to encourage you all to share the live, share the live, share the live. Up next, we speak about Dwayne's favorite topic, party.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Good morning. I am Lisa Mohammed, Guest Services Supervisor, on behalf of management and all of us here at the Magdalena Grant. Welcome. Also extending to all our leading ladies hardworking on a daily basis a happy International Women's Day.
place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. This morning, of course, we go from, we were just in the classroom and now we're going to branch off, even though there's a teacher and a student in front of you, into the fun and, should I say, party parts of, what makes bishops bishops. This morning we are joined with Nkosi Fletcher. I'm going to call him Sir Fletcher from now on if he has any students watching. And of course, no stranger to you, Miss Janae Jones. Good morning to you both.
Hi, good morning.
Pleasure.
Right. So don't look at the faces, right? They were very much excited to be here this morning to tell you about Nostalgia Fair and Party. It is, I was told to say, fun fair that would be hosted by the Bishop's High School, right? It is not a fete. I'm putting that right there. It's not a fete. It's a fun fair, all right? And they're here to tell us a little bit about that, what inspired that. So let's go right into that. What inspired this fun fair, Nostalgia Fair and Party?
All right, so Bishop's High School is pleased to present to the Tobago community Nostalgia Fair and Party. This was born out of a meeting with the year coordinators at Bishop's High School. We wanted to do something to raise funds for Bishop's High School. We have a number of issues that needed to be attended to. So we thought it best to host something that could improve the educational experience of both staff and students. We hope that the income that we generate from this venture would lead to the purchasing of a new public announcement system that is desperately needed at the school, to purchase a high quality copier for the school, and also to equip our staff with modern computers.
Right.
So we really looking at revenue generation to improve the educational experience of staff and students at Bishop's High School.
Okay, so notice he said staff and students. He is part of the staff body. He is Sir Fletcher, though you may have known him as Student Fletcher. He is now Sir Fletcher of the Bishop's High School, right? But of course, we have Miss Janae with us as well. So Janae, as the Student Council President, could you tell us a little bit about what role the student would play in this fun fair?
Okay, so although the teachers are dealing with the fair aspect, lower 6 and upper 6 are dealing with the party aspect, because
of course.
The age category, you might probably be best at this, right? So our aim is just to promote a party so the kids could enjoy themselves. We have guest artists like Saki. We have a few young entrepreneur DJs that attend Bishop's High School as well. Okay. That's DJ Young Slim and the selector AJ. And then we also have a more experienced DJs like MC Flambeau and DJ Kingston, selector 3D and Hyper Kid Snoopy.
Okay.
And selector Bachak and Papi. So those are a few DJs that you guys could look up, and obviously the guest artists themselves.
Right. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in there, Janae said party. It's party now, guys. It's party.
Party.
Right? So I'm going to correct you there. We now say party in Trinidad and Tobago. Okay. Right? So could you give us some details? What day? How do I dress? What time should I get there?
Excellent. So I really want to encourage the Tobagonian community to come out in their numbers, because this will be a fantastic event brought to you courtesy Bishop's High School. So we're having this Nostalgia Fair and Party on Sunday, March 30th. Okay. We start our fair at 2 p.m. and we go until 6 p.m. All right. And then our party begins at 7 p.m. Till. All right? Till.
You said March 30th.
March 30th.
That is the long weekend.
That
because I'm looking at the student here who has school.
No. We have those 2 days after.
Yes.
To just recuperate after the grand festivities. We are hoping to have at the fair also, we have booths like the arcade, we have wire loop, we have tin pan alley, we have in that order, we have punch board, ring toss, mystery box, spin the wheel, balloon pop, ATV ride. So we're really inviting everyone from nenen to auntie to child to big kid to little kid to come out and to enjoy a fun-filled family experience at our fair. persons can, when they enter the fair, they pay $5 to enter.
Only $5?
Only $5 to enter. I tell you, a steal of a deal.
Cheaper than doubles on there. Come on now.
All right, so we have $5 entry, and then we have a cheat system where you purchase your cheats and then you access the booths. All right, so we're really inviting everyone to come out and support.
All right. I wouldn't put mine then on an ATV, but I think I want to ride the ATV, right? So it's looking like a vibe, you know. I think I really should attend this one. All right. So he just gave us some information on the fair. You gave us the information on the party. What time does it start, and where do I go? Where do I go?
All right. So it begins at 2 p.m. The fair begins at 2 p.m. and you come to Bishop's High School located at Mount Mary, Tobago. All right. The fair will be held in the classroom. So you'll just come inside. We will have classrooms set up with the various booths. As I mentioned, there's a long list, arcade while all of those things will be
My
there.
brain paused at ATV.
We will have vendors also selling food items, drink items. There'll be DJs, and we really want to encourage our student DJs to have a platform. So we really thought it best that we encourage them and we give them an opportunity to showcase their craft at Bishop's High School. I just want to make the plug that the name Nostalgia really heralds back to a time where Bishop's High School was known for a signature event. It started in 1995, Nostalgia. It was a Queen show and a party. So we really going back to that. We're rebranding the experience a little bit today with fair and party.
All right. So I have to try my best not to say fete, right? Because it's an F word. It's very close to fair, but they're having a fair and party, and that's Nostalgia Fair and Party happening on March 30th, 2025, giving you that time to rest and recuperate right after those students like Janae, right? It will be taking place at Bishop's High School, and it's only $5 to enter that fair. And of course, from 7 till getting all that entertainment, it's only $100 afterward for the party.
And let me plug, if you want to get any more information, ensure to check out our social media pages. So that's Bishop's High School Tobago or Bishops_Student Council Tobago.
You know, I had to put my face like this because check out our social media pages. Make sure to do that, right? Okay, so that's Bishop's High School on Nostalgia Fair and Party. Party. Oh, my correction there. Nostalgia Fair and Party. Thank you so much. All right. So Mr. Fletcher, or Sir Fletcher, I should say, and Ms. Janae Jones, thank you so much for joining us here on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. I think for the long weekend, if you were looking for an activity to do, here is your activity to do. All right. So they look forward to seeing you at their fair and party. That's Nostalgia Fair and Party on March 30th, 2025. Viewers, please remain with us. Thank you so much once again, Sir Fletcher and Janae, for joining us. We'll be right back. But before I go, remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 GB fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Welcome to the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival on April 19th, 2025. We invite you to an evening of smooth rhythms and soulful music as the sun dips behind Buku Bay. Let all your senses be tantalized. Enjoy an array of seafood dishes, browse crafts and designs created by local artisans, and lose yourself in the soulful melodies of John Sakata, Brian McKnight,
that we should be together.
Bonnet Bigford,
the waves roll and break.
Mikal Tasia.
Where else I go, without you, my God.
And the best of Tobago's talent. Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. The Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, April 19th at Buku Integrated Facility. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm. You've heard a voice on the radio, seen her in your worship, and have sung her songs during your time of praise. Sinesh.
Everybody now, let's go.
Sinesh comes to Tobago for Melodies from Heaven on April 17th. The Shore Park Complex alights with praise and worship from 6 p.m. for Melodies from Heaven featuring Sinesh.
I shall not want. The Lord has
Samuel Madas.
You'll be the only one who's excited to call your name.
Positive.
Me never could have changed my mind.
Blessed Messenger.
In blood of Jesus over your family.
Renee Fortune and many more.
From my head to my feet.
Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. April 17th at Shore Park Complex. Melodies from Heaven. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Again, you're joining us live in Port Moss, Scarborough, Tobago. My name is Dwayne Nils, and we are going to take the discussion up a notch relative to crime and prevention. This morning we have to foster this discussion none other than Mr. Caleb Phillips, who might be very much new to this platform and Tobago Updates. Good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Phillips.
Good morning to you, Mr. Nurse. Morning to Tobago Updates. Morning to Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, and good morning to those listening on the wider network, wherever you may be, whatever part of the world you may be.
Yeah. So Mr. Philip, you're a former fire officer.
Yeah.
What brings you here this morning?
Well, I've been here already once to deal with this topic, and
what topic is that?
It's moving crime from facilitation to prevention. Looking at crime from facilitation to prevention. And that what is happening in society today has driven me to be involved in such discussion, to have such information shared, what I believe that may be of assistance to the wider public.
All right. So my first question to you is, Mr. Philip, you said that you're here to discuss moving crime from facilitation to prevention. Can you delve into that a little bit more and just explain why moving from facilitation to prevention? And is it that you're suggesting that crime is being facilitated, and if so, by whom?
Well, it will be facilitated by the whole society. Let me give you an example. When the police makes an arrest, the person is being arrested, taken to the station, processed, perhaps held for a couple of days. They may get bail or they may go to court, as the case might be. The person, if successful in a matter, would be set free. Unsuccessful, they'll be sent to prison. All the processes that I have named there, those processes are facilitating the problem. Because you need a transport to transport prisoners. So what is happening you need cooks to cook the food. You need janitors to clean the station, the jail. So what we are doing there, what is happening in there, crime has become a business in this country.
All right.
If we look at the what you call the concern about guns on the streets, and guns on the streets, the police makes a raid. We're just looking at a situation here. The police makes a raid. When the police makes a raid, certain persons are being arrested and certain guns are being confiscated. And it forms part of the evidence of the case.
Mm-hmm.
But look what? When these guns are taken, at the end of the matter, the guns are being destroyed. But they are being destroyed after they are being used by criminals or whatever. All we're having here is a facilitation of a gun sale in this country, you know. So that 100 guns were taken off the street this week. Next week, another 100 guns could be taken off.
Mm-hmm.
Because the persons who are bringing these guns into the country are not the little guys on the street that you hold with a gun. They are just the pawn in the business.
Right.
So you have bigger people, some of whom I believe are in position or hired by the government to prevent this crime. And the guns just cannot walk from whether America, Canada, Venezuela, Japan, and come here. You have to have big people facilitating this thing. So what happened? You destroy 100 guns. There is request for 100 more.
So my question to you is, Mr. Philip, and there might be a lot of merit in what you're saying. However, what do you think is the solution, right, to preventing, right, as opposed to facilitating?
The solution to preventing is not a single entity. Is a series of approaches that we have to use to prevent that. A lot of these people are youngsters, are involved. But where are these youngsters coming from? And the last time I used the nursery rhyme, which I will use now, there was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she did not know what to do. So she gave them some broth without any bread, and she whipped them all soundly and sent them to bed. So the nursery rhyme didn't say the father was out, or some family member was giving them something. So we prefer to say it in a more acceptable way, to say that people are having too much children. But, Mr. Nurse, our national tragedy is careless breeding.
Mm.
Right. It may sound a bit harsh, but our national tragedy is careless breeding. Those youngsters, if a youngster is 20 years now, and he's in prison, 18 years and in prison, 18, 20 years ago, they were born to two persons. What went wrong in the lives of those youngsters? That they are all in prison, they are on the run from police, some are being shot by the police, some are being in prison for crimes that you would shame to know that these young people are committing these crimes.
So it still begs the question, Mr. Philip, what do you see the solution being to all these issues that are being raised? Is that you're saying that the government or the local government ought to go on a thrust for what is it called? It's not contraceptives, but like strict Planned Parenthood. Is it that you're saying that that there might be some overarching issue of border security? What are the notable solutions that you are seeing by raising these ardent issues? Because these relevant issues that invariably contribute to crime and criminality.
What we need in our society is to stop thinking that there will be a society without opportunities for crime. We need to stop thinking that way. And we need to prepare our young children in such a way so that they do not take the opportunities for crime.
Right.
That is part of the prevention. For example, if you have a maths book to sell in Scarborough and you have 100 copies, and you're walking through Scarborough today, approximately how many copies you think will be sold?
I'm not sure.
But you're not sure. You're not going to get much sold. If you have 100 guns to be sold, you can't tell me you're not sure if they will be sold.
Well, people don't walk around.
They don't walk around, but they'll find a way to buy them. They'll find a way to buy them.
And just like any product, it has its market. So how do we...
The market is a very, a thriving market, because the market is so big that the suppliers are on time. If there was not a constant flow of guns into this country, by now the amount the police would have destroyed, it wouldn't have any more.
Right.
But there's a constant flow of that, so we have to have a constant, care of our children. If you can't stop the rain.
And what does that care look like,
right,
Mr. Philip? Because you mentioned the nursery rhyme, a mother having a lot of children, and it alluded to poverty to some degree. Are you saying that poverty leads to crime? And more than that, Pete, are you also saying that big families, a family with a lot of children, are more susceptible to going into a life of crime? And if so, what merit are you giving to those two perspectives?
I'm not saying that at all. There are parents with one child and that child in jail.
Right.
And you are parents with 10 children and none of them in jail. They are all doing well, they are mannerly, they are learning their lesson, they are employed in their jobs and so on. Now the terms, so many children, it doesn't denote an amount. It is a lament with saying too much that you can't really control. But the story gets a little more advanced than that, because lack of training in the home. The language you use in the presence of children, young people. For example, if somebody is here and you come and you say, well, listen, I say, well, you standing there? And I say, well, you didn't observe me all the time. And the person might say, normally say, you didn't observe me, so you didn't see me here. You could have get killed and you know. These kind of language, we have to stop using the presence of young people. We have to make it an offense to slaughter animals in the presence of children. We have to make that an offense. That has an effect on their young minds.
Right.
So what is needed most of all is how you train and bring up and direct these young people. Because an idle mind is the devil's workshop, as you must have heard before.
Yes.
Another thing that we have to deal with is our education problem. Our secondary education. And I'm not being political here. But what has been presented as secondary education in the past is a disaster for black people children. So the education system, coupled with the responsible parenting, is one where if you want to find the next generation of gangsters, you don't want to go in the forest, you don't want to go in the block, visit any secondary school and a lot of the primary schools. And what I'm saying here is that if secondary education is to be decent, there must be a cost to secondary education.
So what about those who would have ridden the waves of what our current curriculum provides and have been successful, right? Versus those who was given the opportunity and didn't. What is the difference between the two of them?
The difference between the two of them could have been, I will allude that to, either proper home training and and I don't mean just the mother or father training a child. You have the extended family that looks out for the younger ones in the family. And that is important. Because if you were to be by the police station at any time and somebody's arrested there, you will see mommy, you will see granny, you will see uncle, you will see grandfather, you will see first cousin. All of them are there to support this youngster, whether it's be a woman or a man, in that time of trouble. But what I'm saying too, they adding that support and that money spending at the wrong time. They're spending the money on the child at the wrong time. You need to spend the money on the child at the time when this child is really needed. For example, a little child goes to school and comes home with the exam. And the child may say, Mommy or Daddy, I made 90 out of 100. And sometimes that child is not even giving a little round of applause. You may hear some parents react, some. Well, if you didn't, you're lucky to make 90 because I wasn't going to that concert later. So the child doesn't feel elated to make more marks. Somebody sings a calypso, and the child starts to dance and whine and so on. And you call some neighbor to see, I'm just calling her name here, Nikisha whine. Well, Nikisha realized that I am not getting any recognition for maths. I am going to keep whining because that is what you are praising me for.
Right.
And these little guidance, although they may sound insignificant, these little guidance are what help children along their way. A lot of the years ago, you used to have, when a child is being arrested, or a youngster is being arrested, they say call the mother because sometimes you can't find the father. Now you could hardly find mother or father.
Right.
And this is a situation that will have an effect on our country, on our economy down the road. Because again, the problem of facilitation, some may say if education is privatized or there's a cost to education, it do have to be a big cost. That where will parents find that money to pay for that education? It is a relevant question. But wait, hold on, we have a question, hold on. What is the cost to maintain that child in prison per month? About $30,000. How much people can $30,000 per month employ? You can employ about what? 5-6 people.
So, Mr. Phillips, unfortunately, we have come to the end of this interview this
Well,
morning. We have another segment to begin at 8.
I have no,
8.
yeah.
But we want to thank you for coming this morning and sharing with us, some of the intricacies as to why crime is being facilitated versus prevented. We want to bring you on another time.
Yeah, sure. But I want to make this point before you go.
Yeah, quickly because we have.
Yeah, I want to make this point before you go. So many of the problems that we blaming the police for, the police cannot stop those problems. We have the culprits in this place are parents, delinquent, irresponsible parents with their irresponsible sexual behaviors, leaving their burden for the other persons and the government and the taxpayer to see about. So responsible parenting is our main course. In the nursery rhyme, the woman had so many children. So we need to have children and among that we can manage and don't dump our burden always on the prison, the police, the government, and the taxpayer. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phillip. And that was Mr. Caleb Phillip, guys. And this unfortunately brings us to the end of Youth Wednesdays and Tobago Updates morning show. We want to go over to Good Morning Tobago. We have another segment with you and for you. Just remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. Have a great day.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
here to mainly focus on disease of cocoa. Black pod and witch's broom are currently in Trinidad and Tobago, and we're going to give some sensitization about frosty pod, which is a disease that's in the region that could have devastating impacts to the cocoa industry. The reason why these are so problematic, they affect the economic part. It doesn't necessarily kill the tree, but it makes the farmers feel less productive.
Today, the focus is on identifying the diseases of cocoa towards rehabilitation and restoration of the cocoa. So, as you know, we have one of the finest cocoa in Trinidad and Tobago, and we don't want to lose that genetic stock, and therefore this particular training today is for that.
I believe it's important to renew your information and to be up to date with what is taking place. And we learned that the frosty pod disease is just in our neighboring Venezuela, so we have to be on the lookout for that particular disease and to know what to do in the event that it gets here.
So this workshop or training will help facilitate, refreshing the knowledge that officers have and putting things in place so we can get these cocoa seeds back up and running, back up at production, optimal production at that.
Really is looking at conserving biodiversity and taking on agroecological practices to now look at the agricultural landscape and see how we could better the landscape using that. So the BioReach is really for the landscape, the productive landscapes of Trinidad and Tobago.
I think it's a good idea that the different agencies come on board with the division and with the ministry by extension. Because the ministry cannot do it all alone, so these agencies will help bring information to us extension officers and our wider farmers in Tobago.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly. You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Tobago Updates. Good morning, Tobago.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago. On Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson. And let's get started with the news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 26 March 2025. Police seized 32 potted marijuana plants during a raid in Roxborough, Tobago on March 22nd. The Tobago Divisional Task Force, K9 Unit, Interagency Task Force, Guard and Emergency Branch, and the TNT Regiment participated in the exercise in Rose Hill, Delaford. Officers searched multiple homes and found a grow house with cannabis plants in plastic plots. 2 suspects were arrested. The seized drugs are valued at $13,000, and PC Thorpe is leading investigations. Meanwhile, Tobago recorded its 3rd murder for 2025 yesterday. 32-year-old Bernardo George of Sully Park was fatally shot while on a lunch break in Black Rock Heritage Park. George, a GenCon Limited employee who was contracted by TNTech, was with 3 co-workers cutting trees at the Black Rock Heritage Park. However, during their lunch break, 2 masked men in blue jumpers approached and opened fire. The attackers then fled into nearby bushes. George sustained multiple gunshot wounds. Police are continuing investigations into the incident. And nationally, Senior Counsel Israel Khan is calling for Chief Justice Ivor Archie's resignation after losing a final appeal in the Marcia A.S. Caesar's case. Khan staged a protest outside the Hall of Justice condemning Archie for allegedly pressuring A.S. Caesar's to resign as a High Court judge in 2017. The UK-based Privy Council upheld the local appeal court's ruling that Archie and the JLSC acted improperly. Khan urged an independent investigation under the Section 137 of the Constitution. The Privy Council ruled that A.S. Caesar was wrongfully forced to resign but could have faced disciplinary proceedings. And that was the news in 90 seconds. All right, well, viewers, now getting straight on into our show this morning. Our first guest is not other than Assemblyman Natisha Charles Panton for Bagatelle Bacalet. And she's here to tell us about something special that's coming in Scarborough pretty soon. So good morning and welcome to you, Secretary and Assemblyman. How are you doing this morning?
I'm all right. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Candice.
All right, great. So we're coming up on a special time in Scarborough.
Yeah.
What is that time?
All right. So what I've been doing since January, and well, sometimes unannounced as well, right? I've been doing caravans across the district of Bagatelle Bacalet. And this, a district caravan and harvest will culminate at the James Park area there, just opposite Royal Bank, right? So we're going to have that same caravan, but it will take the form of a harvest as well. So it'll be a district caravan. We'll get to meet the Chief Secretary will be there, the Tobago East candidate, David Tamo Thomas, he will be there, and yours truly, the Assemblyman for the area, I will be there as well. So we'll have a desk and you'll be able to meet with us one-on-one. You'll have performances from district entertainers, yeah, and you'll have food as well, right? You'll have just like a harvest style, the harvest that we'll have across Tobago. Tobago, uptown, that part of town usually don't have a harvest, so it's something that I want to introduce annually, and I've been sensitizing the businesses uptown, letting them know that, hey, this is going to happen. Right? So expect a crowd up there, and it's an opportunity to make an income as well.
Why is it so important that we try to have a harvest in Scarborough?
Well, I think that uptown, we need to bring back life. Uptown, there are a lot of businesses uptown, and I think it's a way to bring people together from the district to support persons in the district. Yeah, so it's all about support. As a matter of fact, everything that I've been doing based on community support, supporting those entrepreneurs and business people, so that, we can bring back some life to uptown Scarborough.
And then how has it been just even being able to engage the business community and so on and bring them together? How has that been?
A lot of them are surprised because it's unusual for them to have that type of representation, having an assemblyman just walk up to them and, tell them things are happening. But that's all part of service, being an assemblyman, of course, for the district. And it's about encouraging persons to get together. The district spans all the way up to Mason Hall. And a lot of people tend to stay in their respective areas. So you wouldn't see Bacalet people coming to a meeting up in Mason Hall and vice versa, yeah? So it's an opportunity to bring the district together. And of course, it's a harvest. So anyone is invited, as usual, just like in a village setting. So I wouldn't deny anyone. As a matter of fact, people on Facebook saying, well, I'm from Canberra, can I come? Definitely you can come and support the harvest. It's fine, right? But the idea is to come and embrace the businesses uptown, right? Because, they have a lot of things, a lot of deals as well. So it's an opportunity for them to make an income.
So they would have some display and so on of their products.
Well, no. Remember, they are they're surrounding James Park.
Right.
Yeah. So people, you don't have to just come to James Park and sit down alone. So you have an opportunity to meet the representatives as well as to walk around to the different stores. Because, I mean, even if they bring something, that would just be 1 or 2 items. But it's better for you to just cross the road and go into a shop, visit them, embrace them, go in and see what they have, right? Because we have to, spur that economic activity uptown. So that's what it's all about.
And of course, we know James Park is a very historic place.
Yes.
And it used to be a market at one point in time.
Correct.
And used to be the center of commerce.
Correct.
So basically, you're trying to bring that back.
Correct. Yes. It used to be, thing, I'm surprised.
I love my
the
history.
Yeah, so it used to be a market, actually. So it's just to get back that type of market setting where people can come and see what Tobagonians have to offer. Yeah.
And especially since a lot of the businesses there are some that has been there for a long time, passed down through generations.
Yes, pretty long time. Yeah. You'll be surprised at the things that you have uptown. Yeah. Even Food King is up there as well. So I mean, come on and enjoy what all the businesses. I'm saying we because I believe that I'm part of that family as well because it's my area. But come and see what it's all about. Yeah, embrace all the businesses uptown. They'll appreciate it, and you'll get to hear some of the talent from your own district as well. So it's really nice to bring the community together. But as I said, it's a harvest, right? So you can come, feel free. You will have the Chief Secretary there again, the Tobago East candidate, David Thomas, and yours truly, the Assemblyman for Uptown. Right? So I'll be there.
Has Scarborough ever had a harvest in the past?
I'm not sure if Scarborough proper, when you say Scarborough proper, there, right? I don't think it has ever had a harvest per se, but I guess the historians would be able to say whether or not that market that they used to facilitate years ago, if they used to have any sort of activity there. Yeah. But as far as I know, not that I've heard of. Yeah. So it's for first time, in my time, right? That, we're having a harvest there. So I'll make it annual. I hope that you come out you'll be pretty surprised at the types of food that we're gonna have uptown. So come out and enjoy
What kind of food? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Harvest type food, right? Somebody they asked me if we're gonna have wild meat. Well, come and see, yeah.
Well, we are out of the hunting season. So.
Yes, hunting season closed and you have 1 month. Yeah, so the month to cook out what you have in your fridge. So you only have 1 month again, a few days again. So it's an opportunity to come and see if you have wild meat. Yeah.
And of course, when is this happening?
This is Friday from 1 to 6. Of course, it will go a little over 6, right? But it's starting at 1 p.m. You'll see some activity happening there. So you'll see a lot of cooking and things happening there before 1 o'clock. But meeting the representatives will start at 1 and it's supposed to end at 6 p.m.
No, and as you said earlier, this is a combination of some of the caravans that you've been doing throughout the district.
Yes.
And how has that been for you? What difference has that made in you as a representative?
We have never had caravans, the office caravans in the district before. So it's something that I've introduced. I believe that it has been successful. It's something that we did last year as well. So that people can come out and, follow up on what they have asked for or, get some advice or information. And I intend to continue with the caravan, yeah, because I know we are in an election season and usually you don't see, you usually would see the Tobago East or West candidate. So they will join the caravans or the walkabouts, but it will continue throughout the district, throughout my time as an area representative. Yeah.
All right, great. So just before we go, because we're just a little bit out of time, but when and where people can come and get a good bit of harvest food in Scarborough?
So you can come at James Park. That's right up, on the side of Courts, where Courts used to be, and right opposite Royal Bank, that's uptown. Right? It would start at 1, it ends at 6 p.m., but you know how these things go. People like to lie a little longer. Yeah, but you can come meet the Chief Secretary of Tobago, the Honorable Fali Chavez Augustine, meet the Tobago East TPP candidate, David Thomas, and yours truly, the Assemblyman for that district, Natisha Charles Pantin. Yes? But before we finish, can I give a special shout out? Today is my husband's birthday, as William Pantin, and of course, Assemblyman Wayne Clark. Happy birthday, and I hope you all have an extraordinary time today.
And certainly happy birthday from us here at Tobago Updates. All right, well, thank you so much, Ms. Charles Pantin, for being on with us, and we will go for a break, but we'll see you on the other side in a bit.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
You've heard a voice on the radio, seen her in your worship, and have sung her songs during your time of praise. Sinesh.
Everybody now, let's go.
Sinesh comes to Tobago for Melodies from Heaven on April 17th. The Shore Park Complex alights with praise and worship from 6 p.m. for Melodies from Heaven featuring Sinesh.
I shall not want the Lord has provided.
Samuel Maydess.
I can't be the only one who's excited to call your name.
Positive.
Me never could have changed my mind.
Blessed Messenger.
The blood of Jesus over your family.
Renee Fortune and many more.
From my head to my feet.
Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. April 17th at Shore Park Complex. Melodies from Heaven. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm. Welcome to the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival on April 19th, 2025. We invite you to an evening of smooth rhythms and soulful music as the sun dips behind Buku Bay. Let all your senses be tantalized. Enjoy an array of seafood dishes, browse crafts and designs created by local artisans, and lose yourself in the soulful melodies of John Sakata, Brian McKnight,
Undeniable that we should be together.
Vonnet Bigford,
When the lightning crack the waters and the waves roll and break.
Mikal Teja,
Else I go, without you, my God.
and the best of Tobago's talent. Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. The Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, April 19th at Buku Integrated Facility. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Wet me down,
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, now we are getting into some conversations about the elections because it is election time. We've just got a few weeks to go before that April 28th general election day, and of course coming up on April 4th we have nomination day. So we're going to have confirmed exactly who are going to be our candidates for the Tobago East and West seats, and then you as the population gets to decide who takes us through the next 5 years. Now, to chat with us a little bit on what's happening and what's on the ground, what has been revealed so far, to give us a perspective is Mr. Max James, a former assemblyman in the Tobago House of Assembly. So good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing my best, Candice, and good morning to you and to the country.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
What to do? Let me see how stick you could get. See how stick you could get. Let me see how stick you could. See how stick you could. See how stick you could get. Let me see how stick you could get. See how stick you could get. Let me see how stick you could. See how stick you could. See how stick you could get. Wet me down, 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 wet me down. Right now I'm overeating. Wet me down, 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 wet me down. Right now I'm over.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion starts.
Tobago on Tobago Updates, viewers. I just want to quickly apologize though for that little break in our transmission, but we are back and up and running, and we are here with former Assemblyman Max James as we discuss what's been happening in the political space as we get ready for General Elections 2025. Now, as we prepare, we've seen that MPs Shampa Lewis and Ayanna Westeroy, they're both going back for a third term in office. What do you think about their chances?
Well, if we were to use Sunday's meeting as a reasonable template,
And the TPP meeting you're speaking about?
yes, and when they presented the two candidates, it gives a good indication as to where the minds of Tobagonians are in respect of the elections soon to come. I think it was a seminal moment where, in spite of what you might have been hearing in the contrary, that there is considerable belief in the Chief Secretary and his team, or the political leader, Fali Augustine and his team. So it indicates that Tobagonians have not lost faith, and perhaps we could dare say increase their faith in respect of the offerings of the TPP. In respect of the incumbents, that is Kojo and Webster Roy, we can say thanks for their service. I think that over 10 years, the critical issue for Tobagonians, or two critical issues for Tobagonians, that is the reform, constitution reform, and a greater level of funding. It is clear, without any argument, it's an oxymoron as we call it, that they have not done what was necessary for Tobago. Funding is a critical issue, and or autonomy is a critical issue. I don't think that they can be in any position to defend their stewardship, having not delivered in respect of those two critical areas. And I think that I think even their followers would agree with that assessment, that after 10 years, we're basically still where they started.
All right, and then looking ahead to the TPP, we finally saw the launch of the Tobago West candidate in the form of Assemblyman Joe Sampson. What are your views on him being selected after almost 6 weeks of deliberation as to who should go up and who should represent the party for the West District?
Well, I'm hardly the best person to answer that question for obvious reasons. But what I can say is that it is what it is, and the political leader is calling on all of us to support this election. Now, I have nothing against Mr. Sampson. I think he's a very likable person. That's obvious to see. And this election ultimately, where you couldn't quarrel too much with his choice. He's very much loved. And I think if you extrapolate that to the Plymouth area, buttressed by Ms. Hackett, and the Bethel area, and even the Golden Lane area, I think he can come home at the seat. And therefore, I'm really confident if we can capture those 4 areas, which I think could happen, I think that the seat is winnable. He seems to be a very fast learner. And of course, every candidate, you're not going to find the best things in every candidate or what you're looking for in every candidate. But I think at this stage of Tobago's political progress and development, we will have to support the move. I do support the move, although I had other choices, obviously. But that's water under the bridge. And the 2 areas, as I outlined, the critical areas of increased parliamentary allocation, and of course the autonomy issue, I think that he should be in a position to prosecute those two areas, because in many areas, if you listen to his debates in the House, he's a firebrand kind of a guy, right? And therefore, I think he could perform well. I honestly do believe that he can perform well. And for whatever the shortcomings of the party, all parties have the shortcomings, right? All of them have the little bits of quarrel here, internecine squabbling. But at the end of the day, I think he will do well and bring home the seat, and I'm confident that that is going to happen.
Now, when we listened to the Chief Secretary and, of course, the leader of the TPP speak on Sunday, the conversation wasn't just about needing to get autonomy, it wasn't just about needing to get more from the national budgetary allocation. He also went into there are powers within the current THA Act that the THA is not allowed to, capitalize on. For instance, like the town and country and a lot of these other issues. You saw the Chief Secretary said, in the messages to both Mr. David Thomas and Joel Sampson, that you all are going down there to also make sure Tobagonians sit on the right boards and so on. What do you think about that call being made by Mr. Augustine?
Well, I think more could have been done, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And I'm not necessarily criticizing, but critiquing, if you will, that more could have been done. In our time, we just did it.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it against the great Basil Pandey and Kamala Persad when they were in power. At that time, town and country is a matter under the 5th schedule. Just do it. I think more could have been done, but the call nevertheless goes out. And I think that to make it pellucid, those two representatives, once they get in, what I think they will, those things should be the first call. I don't, until you can get the entire act or the new act or the new bill passed in Parliament, which is going to be another piece of challenge. There are bits and pieces of legislation that can be put on the table for amendment. While that may be happening, the gringo in me and in us at the time, we will just do it. We will begin to do our own plans and approvals of plans and housing applications and so forth. And just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see where it goes, because we did it and there was no big upset about it. The government at the time capitulated and they knew that it was within our ambit to do. So that is how I would argue in that particular case. Just do it.
Now, we see there are other parties, of course, going to be fielding candidates. We know for sure PDP, IDA, the Patriotic Front, and we may have a couple more people coming on board. And of course, we'll see for certain by April 4th. But when we listened to the PDP on Monday, when they unveiled that Mr. Curtis Douglas is going to go for the West constituency, and of course, Mr. Duke for the East, Mr. Duke put forward an interesting stance in this whole matter. He said that, if he wins, he's going to use his seat as a bargaining chip to basically become prime minister and lead certain parts of the government so that Tobago gets what it needs. What are your views on that?
There's nothing in that. I mean, it is the same thing that will happen if David Thomas or Mr. what's his name again? Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
When they win the seats, Tobago will, because remember, there'll be 39 candidates for the UNC in Trinidad. PDM, of course, is fielding their 41. And so Tobago naturally will or can become a bargaining chip in respect of where they're going to lend their support.
So are you saying that the TPP is looking towards a partnership?
No, I'm not saying.
Okay.
These are my personal views. So let me just state, these are my personal views. I'm not speaking on behalf of the TPP, although I support the TPP. but I'm not speaking officially on behalf of the TPP. So I want to make that very clear. The fact of the matter, though, is that what I'm assessing what has happened or what is likely to happen. And I'm suggesting where you have 39 candidates on the UNC side and you have 2 in Tobago, given the history of this matter, PNM versus Tobago, and UNC's involvement in the politics of Trinidad and Tobago, quite naturally, the seats will give their support to the UNC. It is an oxymoron. It goes without saying. In any event, the PNM has always said, through the former leader, deceased leader Patrick Manning, they have always said they will lose alone, they will go out of power alone, all right, and then come back alone, something like that. So that they're not going to be interested anyway of forming an amalgamation with the TPP, should the TPP win the 2 seats next month. But I'm suggesting that, of course, Tobago should use the 2 seats as a bargaining chip to get what we want. Whoever wins those seats, I don't for one moment suspect or believe that Mr. Duke will win the seat, the Tobago seat. But it becomes like a sort of a spoiler where the votes can be split. And if the votes are split very deeply, you may run the risk of having the PNM go back into power again. And that's my only fear, because you're now having a number of parties lined up against the PNM and likely to split the votes. So I think what the political leader of the TPP and the TPP should be focused a very, very deep and a very robust ground campaign explaining the dangers of voting for the other parties, in spite of what you think of the TPP, in spite of your quarrels with them. All parties have made mistakes. The former prime minister has made colossal mistakes. Even look at his last utterance when the airport was open. He began addressing the chief secretary by his first name in a very derogatory manner. He's a very disrespectful human being. And then he was suggesting that we should embrace sandals. Well, I saw the chief secretary push back on that a few days ago. But if anyone goes on the internet and look at the reputable sites, you will now see where Sandals is suggesting that they're going to sell the franchise. So here you have a former prime minister saying, embrace Sandals, while at the same time, and he has the intelligence. When I say intelligence, he has the knowledge or of the facts. That's what I mean. So that intelligence on the ground is on the internet, where Sandals is likely to give up the franchise. Sandals. So who are we going to embrace? So why is the former prime minister behaving like that? Why is the PNM behaving like that? You're trying to foist something on Tobagonians, which you didn't manage properly in the first place, and then you're saying, let's embrace it. So you've seen a level of dirty political behavior, trying to force the hand of Tobagonians, when the prime minister of Tobagonian birth spent 10 years and did not give us the 2 critical things that we need in Tobago. And he should be ashamed to suggest what he's suggesting to the chief secretary. He should be ashamed to come back here and to say anything to Tobagonians, because he as a Tobagonian should have known that he had to leave a proper legacy, the legacy that I gave you the autonomy. I give you an improved parliamentary allocation, and that would have settled the thing.
But what are the realistic chances this time around? And we only got like 2 minutes left. So in that 2 minutes, just tell me what are the realistic chances this time around to go over that process? How can we see it happen again? How can we see that bill come forward, or a bill come forward again that matches, and how long would that take?
The UNC is on record of being amenable to an increased parliamentary allocation and autonomy for Tobago. I think what will make that come about is to win the two seats. And I think Tobagonians, once those issues, and much more than what those two major issues, once those things are properly explained to Tobagonians in a very sober but profound way, once those areas are really addressed with the population, they can see hope. Because again, just to repeat, the UNC is on record of supporting autonomy. The UNC is on record of supporting an improved and increased allocation for Tobago. I think that what we have to do now is to do the work and ensure that those two seats are won in the next elections.
All right, great one. And thank you so much, Mr. James, for being on with us and for giving us your perspective. And we are looking forward to what's going to be happening for the rest of this month. Well, the rest of the 4 weeks leading up to elections. All right, so thank you again. And viewers, we're going to go for a break, but we'll be back right after this.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand.
The Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm. On Easter weekend 2025, Tobago is the place to be from April 17th to 20th. The Rhythm, the Soul of Tobago. On Thursday, April 17th, get ready for a worship experience at the Shore Park Complex with melodies from heaven. Melodies from heaven. Then on Saturday, 19th April, immerse yourself in the sun, sea, and sand at the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, featuring legends of R&B. On Sunday, 20th April, we bring the curtains down at Parade Grounds, Dwight York Stadium for Fusion. Get your tickets on islandetickets.com now or visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun, we are beaches, we are rivers.
And welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. We are switching gears in our conversation this morning to a little recapping as to what happened over, a couple weekends ago in Pigeon Point, where we had an almost unfortunate incident, if you want to call it that. I mean, we're thankful that, we didn't have a loss of life in Pigeon Point a couple of weeks ago, but the situation has pointed to the need for us to reassess what happens on our beaches, reassess our response also to incidents, because we may not always be able to prevent every single incident, but our response should also be at an optimal level. So to speak to us a little bit on that, we have what I would call our resident marine expert, marine safety expert, Mr. Alvin Douglas. And of course, he's the director of the Tobago Marine and Safety Services Limited company. Sorry. Yes, right? So good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Douglas. How are you?
Morning. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
All right, great. So when we look at that incident, there were a couple of things that were pointed out, because when we spoke to some of the visitors, the tourists that lended their assistance and did the CPR and did the first response needed to make sure we didn't lose one of our treasured pilots. They pointed out to the fact that our lifeguards need to have continuous training, because one of them said that she never had to do CPR before, but because of her continuous training, she knew it was like muscle memory, and then she was able to just jump into action and do what was necessary. So give us your view on that, and tell us about what really happens in the lifeguard space when it comes to CPR training and that sort of thing.
Well, before I start, I need to remind people that, hindsight is always 2020. And an incident like that happened so fast that it's easy for us in the public space to dissect it and analyze and criticize the procedures. And granted, we should do it to make it better. But we shouldn't point finger or try to isolate a certain group and say, well, okay, it's your fault. We shouldn't. Incidents will happen. What we need to do is to prepare. And we have to constantly prepare. And we have to prepare based on our experience. And that is what is lacking to me personally in the marine space. When we have incidents, we don't say, well, okay, wait a minute, we didn't know this would happen. Let's do this. Okay? It is very similar to wearing a seatbelt, Before years ago, we wouldn't dare wear a seatbelt, It was a seatbelt. But now, instinctively, we pull a seatbelt because it was the people, the management, the people in power says, listen, let's make it mandatory, let's make it rule, let's make it law. And then now it's not even law now. You will be able to tell your friend, listen, you need to pull your seatbelt. It's the same thing we need to do in the public space. We need to make sure and have our professionals, our frontline professionals prepared and trained all the time. So it doesn't make sense casting blame. I'm thankful that the individual, I'm thinking that he's recovering. I don't know if that's
Yes, he is
correct.
recovering at this point in time.
And I tell you, emergency response or basic life support or CPR, it is a literal miracle. It means that the worst thing that could happen to you is your heart stop and somebody restart your heart for you.
Which is what happened because, again, when we spoke to the visitors, they told us that when they checked for a pulse, he did not have a pulse.
Yeah.
But
so she performed a miracle.
She performed a miracle, yes.
And we're trained, and it is easy not only for the professionals to be retrained all the time, but also we as a people should train as much of our people to respond to an incident like that.
What are the systems that are currently in place in terms of making sure our lifeguards are trained repeatedly? Because a lot of them, they would have gone through that first response training probably at the beginning of their employment, but is that happening on a continuous basis?
Now, to be absolutely honest, I don't know if they are retrained. I know that in the emergency first aid response field, every 2 years you have to do some type of retraining. I don't know if that has been happening. I am responsible for the past couple of years of training them as for dive or scuba certification to make sure that they're comfortable underwater also. But as for training, I know because I actually did the lifeguard training just before I ended up in the Coast Guard. The training is rigorous. The training changes you. The training that we did at Michael Baker is actually, to me, not only on par, but it's even a lot more strenuous and a lot more strict than the regular first response training, But I don't know if they're being retrained. Looking at this video, one of the things I would like to highlight is when she was saying something, and this is what we need to do.
Yes.
We need to make sure we take advantage of the professionals. She was shouting that she needed a heart starter, which is a defibrillator. And a defibrillator is one of this piece of equipment that we need to make sure that we have in the public space all the time, because it makes sure it empowers the people who are non-professionals. It empowers them to be able to assist. Okay, and it's very easy to be trained in the defibrillator, because basically what the defibrillator does, it sends an electric shock to your heart and monitors your heart, guides you through the entire CPR process. So if I'm not mistaken, she was shouting for one of that.
Yes.
And the only upsetting part is that I have been knocking at the authorities' door. Listen, get defibrillators for not only the lifeguards, but in every public space you should have one of these piece of life-saving equipment. We should
be part of the first aid safety kits.
Yes. It usually when you see it, it's on the wall, just like a fire hydrant or a first aid kit. It's going to be on the wall, and people most of the time are trained to grab it and to render assistance to somebody who needs it.
And what are some of the other equipment that you think that we should have on a regular? Because another thing that was pointed out was the need to have a good hard surface, so that when you start doing the compressions and so on, and the blood has a better chance to flow up to the brain to get the heart restarted, all of these things. What are some of the equipment that we need?
Now, along with the defibrillator, obviously, the first aid kit needs to be upgraded to one where you have portable boards. And now you have backboards that can float, can fold. They are made of a material where the lifeguards can carry it, could swim with it, can strap the person in the water before you even get out of the water. Because, okay, like for instance, especially this case, that individual, allegedly he dove off the jetty.
Yes.
And he hit his head. So on top of near drowning, he would have some kind of a spinal injury. And as much as possible, you want to immobilize the spine, the head. You want to strap that in. And some of these blackboards, these backboards that we have now, it's a little bit older, a little bit dated, and you need to upgrade them so that it's a lot more portable. One of the ideas that I suggested to THA every time I have an audience is to have these floating jetties be put in Storby, Pigeon Point, even Mount Irving. What these floating jetties is an inexpensive way to be, if the lifeguards are able to monitor the swimmers a lot easier, as opposed to swimming from shore. They're able to walk out on these inexpensive piers. They're floating, they're made out of a floatable thing where you could pull out of the water and maintain. And they're easy to install. And you can station the lifeguards on them, so that it's faster for them to, because speed is the name of the game,
Yes. And again, that was another thing that was pointed out. The fact that, you needed to respond and we should just respond quickly.
Yeah.
It wasn't, didn't matter who was doing what.
Yeah.
They all needed to be able to know what the process is, be able to bring the person, get them immobilized, assess quickly, and then act,
one point I want to make before you move on, in an emergency scenario like that, your emergency first responder is trained to manage this scenario, to manage the scene. So you not seeing the lifeguards actually doing CPR doesn't mean that he's not managing the scene.
Yes, that's also true.
He's delegating and guiding and making sure because from the time you have your hand directly on that person, you can't be the manager. You understand? So it was a blessing that they had professionals and in the medical field there where he can guide and manage. So he probably was managing the scene. Okay? Because I'm hearing a lot of what's the lifeguard doing, but why is he sitting there or standing there? He could be managing the scene. In my profession, if I have multiple things going on, I am not going to actually be in the water because I can't manage at the same time. You understand?
Yes, you need to be at an advantage point to direct
That's right.
Yes.
So it might seem to the lay person that person isn't doing anything, but he could very well be managing the scene.
Now, one of the other things is that, and as you mentioned, the inexpensive equipment and so on, how costly it is for us to get up to a good enough standard that when an incident occurs, that we can respond to the best of our ability.
Well, cost is a factor, but when you compare to being sued or or just the amount of loss that you could incur not being prepared or having the perception out there that you're not prepared, especially for visitors, outweighs the cost, So it's better you make the investment now because, especially we are channeling our resources towards tourism visitors and they require a higher expertise, Not to mention our locals, it's going to benefit from this type of education. So yes, it is expensive. Yes, you might have to source it from abroad, but the benefit of it outweighs the cost, really.
And of course, there's some also people that are saying that, maybe we needed to have more protection on the jetty and so on. Give us your view.
You can't, again, hindsight again, the lifeguards I feel it for the lifeguards. I mean, I know why, because as a lifeguard, really, you're really advising people. Who's to say that the lifeguard would not say, listen, sir, don't jump off the jetty. You can't jump off, it's dangerous. Just yesterday, I was in Storby, and the lifeguard blew his whistle. A jet ski came in. There's a lovely lady at the back of the jet ski and a gentleman driving. There is no life jackets on. So he's blowing his hand, he's telling them, signaling him to put on the life jacket, and they just give him a finger and they sped off. You know, so I have, in my short tenure as a person working in the lifeguard industry, you could speak and shout at, you have to be disciplined enough to know in the back of your head, all you're doing is advising. You know, all you are doing, but there is no, the lifeguards don't have the authority to stop anything, stop people from doing anything, you know? The most they can do is advise.
And respond in an incident.
Respond. So it's unfortunate that we try to lay blame to people who really don't have the power to stop anything at all, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right, and of course, I mean, this might be a good point to even say that when we're on the beaches and there are lifeguards there, it is so important for us to
listen to the lifeguards.
To
listen, that's what they're there for. They're there for your safety. Mm-hmm. But, you know, and this is where public education comes in, because public education don't understand the importance of the lifeguard. They don't understand the importance of learning emergency response techniques. We just don't, as a society, not as a public, as a society, we tend to put these things at the back burner. I mean, I am experienced enough to, in my lifetime, to see incidents that I know lives could have been saved if people around had known, listen, tilt that person's head. You know, or just massage the heart. It is so easy to learn. I could recall a few years ago there was an incident at the I think it's the waterfall at Argyle.
Yes.
The drowning. And at that time
where two kids will lost their lives. Yeah.
And the footage showed that one of them was still alive. But nobody around knew that, listen, that person is probably choking on his own tongue because he's semi-conscious. So all you need to do maybe is to tilt that person's head. Mm-hmm. All you need to do is to massage that or check the vitals. It's so important as a society for us to learn how to feed ourselves, but also to save ourselves.
And again, that brings us back to the point that, you know, even though we expect our lifeguards to know these things and to be able to respond in these matters, there are times we are at the beach and, you know, there are no lifeguards at the beach. It's because it's perhaps a smaller, less public beach and so on. Mm-hmm. But as a public, we should know basic first response skills.
We should. Even now, mm-hmm. the bathers, they shift. Now people bathe at the popular beaches are, well, I know that Boko has a lifeguard.
Yes.
But the popular beach, Grange is popular now.
And we've had a lot of drownings at Grange in the past.
This other bay, Grafton, the back of Grafton is very popular. Mm-hmm. So, and the lifeguards can't be everywhere at once. So we have to train ourselves. Mm-hmm. And you have to equip the lifeguards to be able to respond, because now, you know, there's more people looking to go on the beaches, so you need to equip them to respond. Mm-hmm. They're only human.
Right. And then how is training accessible for the public?
Sorry?
Is training accessible for the public?
Training, I know that there are a lot of institutes that provide emergency first response or basic life support training. My company also does it. Unfortunately, I do most of my work in Trinidad, in the establishment in Trinidad. But I am based in Tobago. So I would love, in fact, sometimes I even do free courses You know, they may not get certified because that's what they call, but they get the knowledge. They get the knowledge. So the Tobago Marine Safety and Security Services, my company, we offer emergency first response training certification courses, and it can take as little as 2 evenings. You know, we can train you up. But first aid is done. The Red Cross does a fantastic job. I know that at the YMCA, we would have partnered with the YMCA to do courses at the YMCA also. So these institutes you can go to and you'll find your training. Even yesterday, I started a rescue diver course, and the rescue diver course entails emergency first response. If I do a lot of the schools that do the dive clubs, before we put them in the water, we would do emergency first response because we require them to be able to render assistance to their body. Yeah.
And of course, I mean, we're an island, we're surrounded by water. It's so important for us to know these things and have an idea of how to respond, because things can happen.
And it's not only water. The same courses that we train is the same for if you are in an incident where you see an accident or somebody, and 80% of the time is one of your people. 80% of the time is your relative. It happens at home. Somebody choke on a piece of meat. Somebody just falls ill. Somebody's punctured. Somebody falls and break their hand. What are these things that you would do as a first responder to render assistance? So that when the paramedics come in, or the EMT comes in, they basically know that there was somebody there to render assistance. It makes their job easy.
And it makes a chance at life easier.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. But as I said, those people, they performed a miracle, because if the person heart stopped, they effectively dead, you know. So to restart a heart, on top of that, she did not have the EAD, the external defibrillator, the automated defibrillator, I should say, and she was on point. Yeah, she was on point.
And we are eternally grateful to Miss Hospitalis, and the other one is slipping my mind right now. Miss Anna, I can't remember her last name. Okay, it's slipping my mind right now. But yes, we are grateful that they were there. Yeah. And the story was that they would not even intend to go to the beach on that particular day. It was a last-minute decision, and they just happened to be there at the right time to give that assistance.
Yeah.
And
but
we
the training kicked in.
grateful.
The training kicked in. The muscle memory kicked in, you know.
We are definitely grateful. All right. Well, and thank you so much, Mr. Douglas, for being on with us and giving us your perspective, and for encouraging us, especially here in Tobago, that we need to try and get ourselves prepared, get ourselves trained, get ourselves knowledgeable about what to do when something happens. Because truthfully, we cannot prevent every single incident. And it's impossible for us to say that, oh, it's somebody else's fault why an incident happened. An incident can happen at any time for any reason possible. But the point is that we need to be able to respond when things happen.
And learn from it.
And learn from it, certainly. So thank you again. And viewers, thank you for viewing this morning. It was a pleasure being with you. I am Candace Jackson, and we will see you again tomorrow.